going to do a makeup video, makeup tutorial, whatever you want to call it. And I've finally given in. So welcome to my very first YouTube video. And I decided today that we're gonna go ahead and do a everyday makeup look. Primer. We're gonna begin today with primer. I use Maybelline New York Master Prime by Face Studio in the Blur and Smooth 100, the little white one. We are going to start off by putting that all over my face. Woo. All right. For my beauty blender, I use, it's not really a beauty blender. It's like $5. Real Techniques. You can get it at Target, Walmart, Ulta, anywhere that sells beauty products pretty much. For foundation, I use MAC Matchmaster. I break out very, very easily to like a lot of things. And this foundation never breaks me out. Knock on some wood. It lasts so long. One problem is this is in 1.0 and that's the lightest color they have. So if you're paler than me, you're gonna have trouble finding MAC foundation in your color just because they don't go very light. Pump it onto my hand like a palette. Take my blender. And I always start down at the bottom. I do not use eyeshadow primer. So I've never, I just never really wanted to. And to be honest, the two things that last the longest on my face are my lipstick and my eyeshadow. And then we blend it down the neck a little bit so we don't look too crazy. I love full coverage. This foundation actually is really good. It's not too much, so if you want to go for a little lighter, you could still use it. It just covers up spots very well. I did have an issue with acne for quite a bit, and I could never find a foundation that covered the acne without showing where it really was and the redness and everything like that. Alright, we are blended out. Alright, we're blended out. Next, I will go in with my concealer. For concealer, I use Covergirl's Ready Set Gorgeous in Fair. Again, the lightest color. For concealer, you usually want to go a little bit lighter than your foundation just because it kind of gives this emphasis of a highlight. I actually only put concealer under my eyes. I look like a circus clown. Okay, anyway. Take my beauty blender on the same side that I did my foundation with and I just blend it out. You don't want it to sit there too long or it will dry and get all cakey and nasty looking. And then I took it all over my eye and I kind of cover my nose with it a little bit. If you hear it creaking, it's the table, I'm sorry. I'm on a low budget here. I use Airspun loose face powder in translucent extra coverage. So I take this, I take the cap off. I go back in with my little sponge, my beauty blender sponge. It's not really a beauty blender. I go where I crease and where I flake off the most. So that's going to be my laugh lines, because your girl likes to laugh a lot. Okay, on my nose. And my forehead, because your girl's got a wrinkly forehead. So while this bakes on my face, I'm going to do my eyebrows. I use, it's a little brush with a spoolie on one side and a little angled brush at the end. I brush my eyebrows downwards. So I go ahead, I brush them down. Literally until the end you look like a hot mess when you're doing makeup. I use Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow Pomade. I'm going to use soft brown today. I usually do use caramel, but it was pretty much empty. I needed to get a new one, so I went and I found this. Alright, I just dip the end in there. I don't scoop anything up. I don't do too much. I just kind of make a little dent in there. So then I take it and I start at the top towards the arch. I draw right along the hairs and I just draw a line like this. It's lighter as it goes into my nose and it's darker as it goes out. Okay, I dip back in. I go downwards. Like so. Kind of shaping out my eyebrows. This is very, very, very dark because it's new. I forgot how liquefied their pomade is when it's new because I've been using it, the same one, for like a year now. So, wow. I look like one of those like ladies from a music video back in like 90s. I'm a genie in a bottle. You gotta love me the right way. So then I brush my eyebrows back up. This is supposed to be soft brown. This looks brown, not soft. See, I have it outlined at the top. So now what I'm gonna do, brush that up very, very carefully. I'm going to dip back in just slightly and I'm gonna go down towards the bottom. Again, as you go in, you want to keep it light. So I would start kind of mid eyebrow and then work back. And then whenever the product is kind of like, you know, faded on your brush, I would go and fill in the front. Like so, just kind of tracing the eyebrow out. I dip back in and now I'm gonna finish the tail. I will clean it up with concealer, do not worry. I have my eyebrows pretty much carved out. I just need to fill them in now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip back in. Okay, I'm gonna go into the tail more and I'm gonna fill. Towards the front, again, keeping it very, very light at the front. You do not want to look like you have Sharpie eyebrows. Been there, done that. It's not cute. Okay, when I reach the front, I just kind of like stroke upwards with like the leftover product on the brush. I do not dip back in. I use the leftover product because if I dip in and do that, I will look like a mad woman. Alright, it did come out a little too dark at the front. I'm definitely gonna go back to caramel. No offense to any soft brown users out there. I do not like this. Alright. I really don't like this color. Doesn't match my hair at all. I thought it would be more like a blonde brown just because like a light brown. I mean, I might be going crazy. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe on camera it doesn't look as bad, but be very careful of the tail, because you don't want to draw it down too far. If you drew a wing and you drug that wing all the way out to like your hairline, if it would touch your eyebrow, you drew your eyebrows out too much. That's my opinion. So I kind of stay very small and realistic, and wow, I am going back and getting caramel after today. This is horrible. Ugh, look at this. Oh my gosh. I always make a hot mess of my eyebrows when I do them. And if you do too, that's okay, because remember, you can clean it up with concealer. Oh my gosh, you can. We are definitely cleaning this up with concealer. For under the eyebrows, I'm gonna like hide this one because it turned out really bad, but I'm gonna clean it with concealer, so it's all gonna be good. I go in with my Covergril Ready Set Gorgeous and a really thin, small brush like so. Take a little bit on the brush, and I'm gonna carve out my eyebrows. I went ahead and did that. I'm gonna take my beauty blender again, and I'm going to just make sure it's blended out and not too obvious that it was there. Next, I take my ABH Brow Wiz in Caramel, and I just kind of fill in the gaps, and I kind of make hair-like strokes. I'll show you. For hair strokes, I kind of turn it aside and I very, very lightly just make hair, like very light up strokes on the front of my eyebrows. If you accidentally make too much, you can just take the spool and just kind of brush upwards. It'll blend it out almost. Now I'm going to take my e.l.f. Brow and Eyeshadow Gel. Okay, they're both coming clear, but I use the eyelash side because it just, I feel like it holds so much better than the eyebrow side. So I take that and I just brush through it. Be very careful that you don't brush outside of your eyebrow or it will leave a brown stain. Definitely want those eyebrows looking slick and clean. So then I brush out over here, then I take it and I brush upwards very lightly from the front, and then I take a clean spoolie and I kind of just graze over the front to push the edges down. Okay, see how they're sticking up right here? I take this and I just graze along the front to push them down. Now that my eyebrows are done, I am going to take a very fluffy brush. I use e.l.f.'s, just their regular face brush, and I'm gonna fluff out around my mouth. I'm gonna leave my nose and my forehead alone just because I feel like they need extra time to really set in and stay. So for my contour, I use Too Faced. They had a Christmas set, and it was a gingerbread. It looks like this. It's a little dirty because it's been used. There were 2 palettes with blush, and there was one with this contour. They all had little eyeshadows, which I still haven't even used eyeshadows, but I love the blushes and the contour in here. So I take my brush and I just kind of lightly side sweep it. Pop, pop, pop. Never, ever, ever swipe down, and do not go all the way down here. I kind of stop where the outer corner of my eye is, and I go up. So I start in the middle and I sweep up. And I also use a little bit of circular motions upwards. Alright, and I do not contour my forehead. Yeah, I don't contour my forehead. I feel like the way it's shaped, it kind of has a natural contour in my hair with my widow's peak. It just doesn't, whenever I try to contour it, it doesn't look right. I go back and I take it, I side sweep motions, and I do my jawline down here. Blush, I take the same brush, I kind of just brush it off on a washcloth, and then I use Kylie Jenner's Kylie Diary. It was her Valentine's Day palette. Okay, it's a little dirty down here, but anyways, and I take the brush and I do circular motions. Circular motions make everything go on so much smoother. I go to the apple of my cheeks and I work backwards into the contour. I take my beauty blender and then my Airspun powder, I pop it back open, I collect the product onto the bottom edge of it, and I go from under the contour, under my cheekbones, and I go downwards just to really, really get it like sharp looking. So whenever I take this off and let it bake for a little bit, it'll look very, very sharp, very, very nice. You can already kind of see it. After that, to start off with my eyeshadow, I use a lot of the eyeshadow brushes that came in the palettes that I use. So I take the Anastasia one from my Modern Renaissance. I love it for highlighting underneath my eyebrow. Alright, so I take my Metal Matte palette and I take the 2 white colors. This one down at the end, it's called Linen, and this one down over here called Bone. I take the fluffy end of my ABH brush, swipe that on there, and I just follow along my eyebrow just to lighten it up. So that way whenever I take my highlighter and I bring it under there, it'll help, and it'll also make things blend so much better. I also take it whenever I'm done there and I take it to the inner corner in circular motions just to really, really bring out that highlight. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette today, and that's what I'm going to use for my eyeshadow look. I am going to take one of my Urban Decay brushes from one of the Naked palettes. It looks like this. I'm going to take Tempera, Golden Ochre, Raw Sienna, and Burnt Orange, all the bottom 4 or the first 4 in the palette, and I tap my brush in there and I start at the corner of my eye. Kind of tap it. At first it's going to look a little messy. Blend it out. Circular motions help everything. Work it into the crease a little bit. Right. And never go too far down. I kind of keep it where I know my wing will go, and I don't go any further down than that. So now I'm going to take Warm Taupe and Cypress Umber, which are the 2 browns. This very light brown and this darker brown. I'm going to tap my brush in there, and then I'm going to do the same thing starting from the crease, and I'm going to work my way in circles upwards into the crease. Just blend that out. Make sure there's no rough edges, and you'll have something a little like this. I'm going to take another Urban Decay brush from one of my Naked palettes, and it's more of a flat brush this time. So I'm going to take the bigger side and I'm going to dip it into Primavera. I'm going to swipe that on there, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to pat it onto my lid. And I definitely want this to show. It's like a gold shimmer. It's very, very pretty, very, very glamorous, but also very neutral and subtle. All right, and then I'm gonna go back in with the brush that I used for my creases, and I'm just gonna go circular motions with a bare brush, just so that it's blended and that gold isn't too harsh of a line. What we're gonna do now is under. We're gonna do under the eyes. So I take back with the brush that I used for the Primavera on my lid. I go back with that fluffy end and I dip it again in Tempera, Golden Ochre, Raw Sienna, and Burnt Orange, the first 4 of the palette, and I work it underneath my waterline, right in my lash line. Back and forth. It's okay to drag it down a slight bit. It's alright. Alright, then I go back to Warm Taupe in Cypress Umber, whatever it is, and I go more towards the edge because it's darker. I only go to the middle of the eye and I blend upwards into the crease. Alright, so that way it kind of gives a smoked out look. It's not too harsh. It doesn't look like raccoon eyes. Now we are going to take Vermeer, the one that I've almost hit pan on, and we are going to take back that Anastasia Beverly Hills fluffy brush, the one that I love so much. We're going to dip it into there and we're going to draw it right under our eyebrows. Right under that arch, kind of going backwards. You can bring it up a little bit. Just make it look nice and make your eyebrows look popping. And we're also going to take it and put it in the inner corners. Now we're going to go in with a winged eyeliner, which I get a lot of questions on this. So for winged eyeliner, I use my Holy Grail Revlon Colourstay Skinny Liquid Liner in Blackout. It looks like this. When you take it out, it's almost like a tiny paintbrush. And I just kind of draw along my lash line. Alright, it's okay not to have it even right away. I go from where my eye, the way it rounds, from the very top of the roundness of my eye, and I draw it out to where I want my wing to be. So we're going to go ahead from the top where my eye rounds out, and we're going to draw that line. Wings take so much patience too. Alright, see how I kind of have that line going? Now I'm going to take from the corner of my eye and I'm going to draw up to meet it. Like so. And then I just kind of fill it in. I kind of round out the edges that are looking a little shaky, a little rough. And there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it onto the lid and draw it inwards. There we go. Alright. So we have that one as well. Alright, now I'm going to take a Sephora Waterline eyeliner. It is Sephora Retractable Eyeliner, waterproof, in glitter black. So I take it and I'm going to draw it in my underline. I'm going to go ahead and take off the powder from my forehead and my nose, which I still have on baking. I'm just going to take the big face brush from e.l.f. For my eyelashes, I use Ardell's fake lashes. They are my favorite. They're very, very affordable. They're like $3 to $5 depending on the kind that you get. I use the Ardell's Double Ups and Double Wispies, and this is what they look like. I have a new package here. And over the lips, and there we go. Now we're highlighted. So what I do for my lips, I take baby lips, and with the foundation still on my lips, and I just run it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set my face with my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. Shake it up. that just helps set it in. It helps it stay. And yeah, that's it. That is my very first makeup tutorial. So thank you for watching. I hope that I helped you, answered any questions. I know I've been getting so many, and I can't thank you enough for all the support, all the love that I've been getting on my posts, all the questions. It makes me feel so good to know that people care and want to know how I do things and want to see how I do things. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, you found it helpful, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment, let me know if you want me to continue, if you want me to do something, like what you want me to do next. Thank you for being on this makeup journey with me. Bye.